took just under 3 years for us to save for our first £100,000, or roughly about $135,000. And this is pure saving, not including any capital gains. And once we reached the first 100k, it changed our financial trajectory completely. This video isn't meant to be a brag. It is simply meant to share my story to any of you that seek to improve your financial situation or working towards flexibility or even financial freedom. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Poppy and I am on my personal journey of becoming financially free and living my best life. So if these are the things that you're interested in, then I do invite you to subscribe to the channel, because these are the topics that I like to talk about. Now, in order to understand why we started saving for our first 100k to begin with, I need to take you back to a little over 4 years ago. It all started after our wedding. At the time, we didn't have that much money, so we didn't have a big expensive wedding. But nonetheless, it was wonderful, and in many ways, many would describe it as perfect. But something kind of happened after we made final payment for our wedding. I checked my bank account, and that's when I realized that my bank account was zero. Literally. And that's when it hit me. That's when I realized that we were actually living paycheck to paycheck and we needed to do more in order to take care of our finances. And that's probably the first thing that you need to do before starting to embark on your first $100,000 journey, is to find your why. Because I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. The first 100k is very difficult. It will require you to have a deep discipline and deep understanding or knowledge of where your money is going, and there will be a lot of bumps and obstacles along the way, and therefore understanding your why is really important. Why you're doing this, so that it keeps you motivated at times when you feel like this is impossible. Once you hit that first 100k mark, things actually become a little easier, because once you hit that milestone, there are two things that will happen. The first thing is that it means that you have set up a strong habits and systems that help you spend less than you earn, which in turn will make your second 100k easier. Secondly, at that point, the compound interest starts to become quite significant. Think about it this way. If you have £10,000 saved or invested somewhere with 5% interest, the interest earned will only be £500. However, at a 100k mark, the interest will be £5,000, which is much more significant, which in turn again will make it easier for you to save for another 10k. So win-win situation. Now, before getting into the practical side of things, there is one very important thing that I need to address first. And in order to have this talk, I need to take you somewhere.
I've never been known for my cautious side. You should know that I'm well aware.
You see, a couple of years ago, I moved to London. And as you know, it's not exactly a cheap city. And working and living in London, initially, I wanted the kind of lifestyle that people have over here. The expensive bags, getting your nails done, going to nice expensive restaurants to eat. However, I realized that those things actually don't make me happy. Of course, I do like to eat good food, but I don't really need to go to expensive places to eat. I do like to look good and dress well, but those clothes just need to fit me well and they don't have to be expensive. And once I realized that, it was like a light bulb moment where I was able to eliminate a lot of costs and expenses that I didn't really need to spend, or eliminate going to places or attending activities that didn't really add value to my life. Okay, let's get practical, shall we? How do we actually reach a 100k mark in just under 3 years? And step number 1 is work out how much you need to save per month by working backwards from your goal. A good starting point is saving around 20% of your total capital income. However, obviously, the more you save, the better it is. So for example, if you are earning £30,000 and if you're saving 20% of that, that means you'll be saving £6,000 a year. With £6,000 a year without investing in anything else, then it will take you 16 years to get to a 100k mark. From there, you can figure out how long it will take you to get there, and then you need to figure out what you need to do in order to get there sooner. And normally this is by increasing your saving rate, and we'll talk about saving rate in just a second. Well, I hope you enjoyed the trip. By now, you probably have some sort of budget set up. But if you haven't, I do have a free budgeting template that I'll leave in the description for you to download. Again, it's a freebie. And apart from setting the monthly budget, we also tracked all of our expenses. And that means every dollars or every pound that we spend, we track them all. Now, the app that we've been using to track our expenses is called YNAB, and obviously you can use any applications you want. The well-known one in the UK are Emma, and I've also heard good things about Mint, so check those out if you don't want to use YNAB. But YNAB, or You Need a Budget, is something that we've been using since starting our journey. And it's been working really well for us. As you can see, we literally record every transactions that we spend on. And I know some of you might think this is so tedious and it's just too much work, but do allow me to try to convince you. The reason why tracking all of your expenses will really help you saving your first 100k is that this will give you the information that perhaps has been overlooked, and you can use that information to analyze whether there are things that you can cut down on, or there are things that you can get a better deal somewhere. Now, some example of the expenses that are normally overlooked by many of us are subscriptions. These days, a lot of services are subscription based, and most of the time we just leave it rolling over to next month without thinking about it. According to This Is Money, UK households spend around £552 a year on subscription. So cutting down even one or two of these services could really actually help you working towards your first 100k goal. Now, that's really all I want to say in terms of saving, because at the end of the day, you guys are intelligent and knowledgeable individuals, so I don't think I need to go too deep into it. So we are just going to jump straight into step 3, which is increase your saving rate. Because saving and reducing expenses, it's just really one side of the equation. In order to build wealth, you are going to need to increase your saving rate. Essentially, this means that you are going to need to build a bigger gap between your income and your expenses. Okay, remember the example that we talked about, that if you're on a 30k salary, you're saving 6k, that means your expenses or fixed expenses are 24,000 a year. Now, if you can just imagine increasing your income by just 10k, either by salary negotiation or having a side hustle or side income, and if you keep the level of your expenses as is, you then be able to reach the 100k mark in just 6 years. It's actually quite remarkable what 10k can do. And one of the ways that you can do this is building a higher income level. Now, I am not saying in any way that you need to be a higher earner in order to save for your first 100k, because as we have seen before, there are many high earners who are actually still living paycheck to paycheck. However, actively seeking for opportunities to increase our income was something that we did, and something that allowed us to see our money grow rather quickly. During this 3 years time, each of us triple our income, and at the same time we made sure that we didn't inflate our lifestyle to match the income level, and therefore we were able to increase the saving rate from 20% to 40%. No, and if you can, you should also invest. Now, when talking about investing, people normally think that I'm talking about just investing in a stock market. And although you should absolutely invest in a stock market, there are other options of investments that you can look into. Whether it's investment in a property, sometimes flipping homes, sometimes doing a rental so you get a rental income, or even Airbnb. It could also be an investment in a business, in a small business, or for investing your time in doing side hustles so that you can earn more income, which then allow you to save more. Now for us, we didn't really invest our saving in anything because we were saving for a lump sum amount so that we can put down as a down payment for this house that we're living now, which I do consider as well as an investment. Now speaking of increasing your saving rates, if you're looking for ways to increase your income potentials, then I do invite you to watch this video right here where I talk about all the ways that I did to increase my income quite significantly in a short amount of time. I'll see you there.